Welcome to my next Lost. Season 1 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Lost, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, if you found that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. For all of you out there that are wondering, I have seen Lost all the way through at least 3 times already. Watching it for the 4th time, I want to take my time with this show. A lot of times, well, all the time I binge this show, and I remember a lot of stuff, but I also forget a lot of stuff. So I'm taking my time. I'm watching 1 to 3 episodes a week. Typically, it's like 1 to 2 episodes a week to see where it ranks on my all-time favorite TV shows of all time. But I'm not the only one that's watching Lost. In fact, the legendary Crazy Coffee Man, who you see in my comment section periodically here, is watching Lost for the very first time. And so far, so good. He's a fan of the show. He can write really good detailed episode review videos, but that takes such a long time. But he's doing his best to interact. So please let us know what you think in the comment section. Let's go on this journey together. And if you want to hear me ramble about my detailed review, because that's what I'm about to do, then just leave your score of the episode right now and any bullet points that you want to talk about as far as this episode of Lost goes. So with all that said, this will be Lost, Season 1, Episode 19. The title of this episode is called Deus Ex Machina. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So we start with John Locke in a flashback, and he's working at a toy store in his younger years, obviously, and he's showing a kid Mousetrap, which was one of his favorite games of all time. He should have showed him Backgammon. And then a woman asks where footballs are. Now, there's 2 different size footballs, so he points her in the direction of both aisles that they're in. And then we go back to current time, and Locke tells Boone, all we have to do is break the glass of the hatch to get in. Boone wants to know Locke's story. Locke says his story would bore him. They try to break the glass. They have this device set up where like a tree branch crashes down into it, and it didn't necessarily break. And then Locke screams, "This was supposed to work!" Boone notices that Locke has a piece of like shrapnel or shard metal in his leg, but he's okay. I'm not exactly sure how that got there, if that was on the device that they were trying to break the glass with. I didn't quite catch. But Locke tells Boone everything breaks if you apply the right force. Then we go back to the Locke flashback. He gets hit by a car, but he's okay, as he chases this woman that asked for footballs in the store in the parking lot. And then she tells him she's his mother. Now, Locke was a foster kid, remember, and she wants to tell him that he's special. Very special. He asks if his father is still alive, and she says, you don't have a father. You were immaculately conceived. Immaculately conceived. Interesting. Sawyer asks Son about some leaves. Kate asks Son what was that about. Son says Sawyer has bad headaches. Kate tells Jack about Sawyer's headache problem. Jack says he'd love to make sure he's okay, but all he would get from Sawyer is a snappy one-liner or a new nickname besides Doc. Has he called Jack anything else besides Doc? I'm sure he has by now, but I can't remember. Locke tells Boone he's late for work. Boone says he's done working. He says something to John about you can't, and then of course Locke responds with, don't tell me what I can't do. Locke starts hallucinating, and it turns out that this is just a dream that John Locke is having. And then John Locke wakes up Boone. Locke talks to a man that confirms that the woman is indeed his mother. I don't know if it was a cop or like a private investigator or somebody. And then Locke finds out that a man named Anthony Cooper is his real biological father. He goes to visit Anthony Cooper, and Anthony Cooper says, this is awkward. And Locke tells Anthony Cooper that Emily had found him, his mother. And then Anthony Cooper asks Locke if he wants to go hunting on Sunday. Locke says that he'd like that very much. Then we go back to present time. Locke tells Boone about his dream. Locke mentions that Boone talked about Teresa in the dream. Jack goes to talk to Sawyer. He tells Jack his uncle died of a brain tumor. And Jack mentions there's a couple tests he could do. And Sawyer says, sorry, Doc. His insurance ran out. Locke finds a cross and a dead body in the jungle. And then we go back to a Locke flashback. He goes to visit his father again. And conveniently, Anthony Cooper is now on dialysis and on a donor list. And John just happened to walk in at the time that he was getting his dialysis. We go back to current time. The dead body has on it Nigerian money. Loud noises are bothering Sawyer. Kate tells Sawyer to get up. You're going to see Jack, or you're going to Jack. He asks Sawyer some questions. Sawyer says yes to the question of having sex with a prostitute. Sawyer gets mad about an STD question that he doesn't answer but leaves and tells Jack to go to hell. And Kate says, I know he deserved it, but... And then Jack just says, he needs glasses. Locke tells Boone about being paralyzed in a wheelchair, and there's something that will help us get into the hatch. This island is special. Then we go back to a Locke flashback. Locke shoots a dove. Anthony Cooper says, your mom brought us together. Thank God while we still have time. And then Boone tells Locke about Teresa being his nanny. Locke starts laughing, and Boone asks, what the hell's so funny? And Locke points, and Boone turns around to see the plane that John Locke had saw in his dream. It's on a cliff. Locke tells Boone he's going to have to climb the cliff to find out what's inside the plane, as he's still hurt from the metal piece, shard metal, shrapnel, whatever it was that was in his leg. And then we go back to a John Locke flashback. Anthony Cooper tells John he's so thankful. See you on the other side, son. That'll be a quote in Lost that you hear many times from a character. We'll just say his name is Desmond. You'll see him in season 2. Anyway, as John is actually going to give his father one of his kidneys. So quickly, he's met his father, got into a really quick relationship with him, father-son relationship, and then is going to donate a kidney to him. Jack tells Sawyer he has hypophia. I don't remember exactly how he pronounced it, but I don't remember, something like that. He says Sawyer is farsighted, and he has Sawyer try on glasses, and then Saeed has combined 2 different pairs of glasses to get Sawyer the right pair, and now Sawyer can see, and the headaches are gone. Although he doesn't confirm that in the episode, but the headaches will be gone. Boone has climbed up to the plane. Boone finds statues with heroin inside the plane, and then Boone finds a radio on the plane. He's able to reach someone and tell them we're survivors of Oceanic Flight 815, and then the plane falls down from the cliff. Locke rushes over and pulls a bloodied and injured Boone out of the plane and starts to carry him. I thought he was really injured from the shard metal or whatever in his leg, but apparently he forgot about that now. Kate asked Jack if he knew Sawyer needed glasses before or after his latest outbreak question. Locke arrives with Boone. Jack, help. Boone is actually seriously injured. Jack says, John, tell me exactly what happened. And then Locke kind of just disappeared. Back to Locke flashback. Locke wakes up to his father missing in the hospital. And there he's told Mr. Cooper checked out this afternoon. And then Emily shows up and tells John that it was his idea. She says, John, I needed money, and he has money. It had to be John's idea. That was the only way he was going to give his kidney to him. And he wouldn't do this to me. Eddie won't open the gate for John. So John goes to see Anthony Cooper, and then his servant, Eddie, won't open the gate. And then John cries in his car. And then we go back to Locke on the island. Locke is talking to the hatch, or talking to the island. I've done everything that you've asked me to do. Why did you do this? Why? And then a light comes from inside the hatch. And that is what ends this episode of Lost. So, obviously, a really good episode of Lost. The John Locke stuff is always interesting. And Anthony Cooper conned John Locke. Now, we've seen episodes with cons in them before. Does it all tie together? That's the question. I won't give any spoilers. So anyway, really good episode. I'm going to give it an 8.8 out of 10. The character of the episode, well, obviously, John Locke, the character of the episode. I think Jack was pretty good, too. He helped Sawyer out with his vision problem. We got a cameo appearance from Saeed. Got a little bit from Sawyer, a little bit from Kate. No Charlie, no Claire. We got a brief scene with Michael taking orders from Jin, and he's like, "Oh, I think you've learned some Korean, like idiot and do this or something like that." So, but good stuff from John Locke. Terry O'Quinn does a phenomenal job. So, you've heard everything that I had to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Lost and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please consider Hulk smashing the like button. Otherwise, I'm going to have to send Hugo Hurley Reyes after you, and he might just sit on you just because. So make sure you Hulk smash the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Please don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Lost. What would you rate the episode? Who would be your character of the episode? And then maybe your secondary character, as all the episodes are geared towards one character, but pick a character besides that character. So that's why I went John Locke, Jack Shepherd, and then do that. And of course, last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. Subscribe to the channel. You're watching the video anyway. Join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.